All right, so you worked hard for 30 years, they gave you the gold watch, you got the pension, and you're sitting there with a form in front of you, you're not sure which box to check. The big question is, should I take the pension or the lump sum? So good news, we can help. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up button, give us a like, and make sure you share this video with your friends. Let's get into it.
He watches the markets.
In the great city of Memphis, Tennessee.
If they raise rates tomorrow, it could be a sign of confidence.
The financial advisor extraordinaire.
He's with McAdams Group.
Of course, Wall Street doesn't like rising interest rates.
And I know people from all over the Memphis area come to visit you for help with their RMD.
David McAdams is with us.
David McAdams.
David McAdams.
There are exceptions to the rule.
That's very interesting because that's kind of against conventional wisdom.
That's the insanity of it.
All right, so here's the big dilemma. You're not sure which box to check. We see this month after month, year after year in our practice. People call us and they say, hey, I've got 30 days to fill out this paperwork and there's all these boxes and I have no idea what to do. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So typically you have two big choices, and then within the two big choices, there are some smaller choices you have to make after you make the big decision. The first decision you have to make is, do you want a monthly lifetime income? Do you want to get a check for life? Or do you want to take the money and run? Do you want to take the cash or the lump sum? Now, not all pensions allow you to make this decision, right? You might not have that option. You might have worked for a company where you said, hey, you get a check and all they want to know is, do you want it for your life? Or do you want it to continue after you die so your spouse can get a check? And then you'll have different what they call settlement options. Some pensions have what's called an individual or what's called a life-only option. Some will have a joint and survivor, to where if you die, the check still keeps coming in. I like to have fun. I like to joke around and say, hey, if you're married and you want to stay married, you're probably not going to pick the one where the check goes away when you die. You're probably going to check one of the joint options, but which one? Because it could be 100% of the check keeps going into your spouse, or 75 or 50%. And to even complicate things further, many pensions have what's called a Social Security leveling option, or they might even have a pop-up provision. Now, I have some good news. All those choices could be a moot point. What do I mean? They might not matter at all. Why they might not matter is because you might have an option called the lump sum option. And it's very rare that I see a pension that suggests you should check one of the boxes to get a monthly check. And in other words, I'm going to say maybe 90% of the time, you're going to want to take the lump sum. But, and this is critical, it really depends on what you do with the money as to whether you should take the lump sum or not. So let's talk about when you want to take the pension, all right? If you own a calculator, do a little bit of math. I'm going to keep the example simple. Let's say that the lump sum is $100,000. Now, I don't care whether it's $500,000 or $1 million or $10 million. We're going to use $100,000 because then you can just extrapolate and do the math on a bigger amount. So what you're going to want to do is take that monthly income and multiply it times 12. So let's say the monthly income is $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. Now, what is $6,000 a year divided by $100,000? It's 6%. It's 6%. Now, to me, I'm keeping the money. I'm taking that $100,000 all day long. I'm not taking the monthly income. Why? Because I can take that money, roll it over into a 401k, or I'm sorry, roll it over into an IRA, and I can keep the money. I can invest it how I want to invest it. And if you're smart, you're going to invest for income. Now, we're going to talk about that more in a minute, because that is the single biggest mistake I see people make when they roll over the pension into an IRA, is they select the wrong investment strategy to get the income. But let me go back to some basics. If you see that that income is 5, 6, 7% of the lump sum, you've done the math, you should be able to recreate that income externally, but keep all the money. Now here's when you probably want to take the lump sum. I've seen some government or municipality, local government, some government employed pensions where the lump sum's $100,000 and the annual income's $25,000 a year. Well, that's 25%. 25,000 divided by the lump sum, 25%. Well, I'm checking the box, I'm taking the income. All right, but that's rarely the case. Most of the time, the income is a small percentage of the lump sum, meaning you're going to want to take that money and run. But before you do that, you're going to want to make sure you avoid the biggest mistake when people take the lump sum, and that is how they invest the money. You know, here's what most people do. They take the money and they're either a do-it-yourselfer or they have a financial advisor. The do-it-yourselfer sticks it in some mutual funds and they're hoping it grows and they're hoping they can take money out and not run out of money before they run out of life. But here's the bad news. They're using what we call the liquidation method. Okay? They're selling shares to get the money. And God forbid they retire in 1999 and the stock market drops 50% and they're taking money out each year and they're not down 50% after 3 years. Oh my goodness, it's worse. They're down 70%. Why? Their $100,000 was dropping with their investments and they were also taking money out at the same time. So now 3 years later, they have $30,000 left and they're on pace to run out of money before they run out of life. This one mistake causes more people to run out of money before they run out of life than any other single mistake. And that is investing for growth instead of income. You know, there's a simple formula, TR equals I plus G. What does that stand for? Write it down. Total return equals income plus growth. That's right, the return on your money actually comes from two components. It comes from the income that your investment's generating, the I part of the formula, and then it comes from the growth in the price, the capital appreciation of your investment. And so many of you are making this huge mistake. You're investing for the G and not the I. What do I mean? Let me use a simple analogy. I'm going to use a real estate analogy. Two people retire. Sally invests for growth and she buys some raw land. Jim invests for income. He buys some rental properties. They both own real estate, but how are they going to get their money when it's time for income? Well, the person that bought the raw land unfortunately has to sell the land. He has to hope and pray that the value of the land goes up and sell some acreage. He has to cannibalize his investment to get his income. It's not income. He's liquidating the asset. He's cannibalizing his nest egg. The person who bought the rental properties has income coming in, so they just care about the rent. Are they going to get a check next month? And if you properly invest your pension for income, then you can live off the income and preserve the principal. Okay? Now here's the problem. Most well-meaning financial advisors have no idea how to invest for the income. They're going to put you in bond mutual funds. They're going to put you in things that look and act like they're designed to get income, but they don't really get income. They just have high fees and expenses to fake the income. Or they're going to put you in a diversified mutual fund portfolio. Oh my goodness, what's in there? Well, there's three things in there. There's cash paying almost nothing. There's bond funds paying 2% income, and you need 6. And there's stocks paying 1% dividends, and you need 6. The well-meaning advisor doesn't know what to do. They're not trained on how to get you that high income with less risk and less volatility so that you can live on the I and not gamble on the G. At McAdams Group, We specialize and focus on helping retirees preserve and keep that principal while getting the income by using different categories. There's so many categories that are outside the more aggressive stocks and stock mutual funds that are designed to generate income month after month, year after year, so that you can avoid running out of money before you run out of life. You know, at McAdams Group, we believe that retirement planning should be simple, easy, and inexpensive. Most of our clients want to decrease risk, decrease unnecessary costs and fees, increase income, increase safety. For more help on how to do that, to get your complimentary review with a retirement specialist, just click on the link below, fill out the short 60-second questionnaire. We can help.